All right. What is up, everybody? Good evening.
Hello, hello.
What's up, Travis? I'm very excited. Very excited to present this today. Welcome to the Earn More, Work Less event. What do you think of that title, guys? Pretty exciting stuff. I think that's kind of everyone's goal, is it not? Let's earn some more money while working a little bit less. I'm okay with that. Or even in this case, maybe even a lot less. So first, before we get started, if you guys can pop in the chat where you're from. We're always interested in that. We've got, as far as I can tell, some of the folks I know here from all over the world. So that's pretty cool, pretty exciting. Got Travis from Boise. I'm over here in Chicagoland. By the way, the music you heard, the individual singing that music was our very own Brian Chamberlain. So I always like to give him a shout out. It's really impressive. He's got a lot of talent. Beautiful songs. We got Alberta. That's not good enough, Janelle. Just kidding. Alberta's a big place. Las Vegas over there with Deborah. Washington, D.C. I didn't know you were. I did know that, Harry. I'm sorry. British Columbia. Judy doing the same thing as Janelle. Let's just pick the biggest landmass we can. Keeping it private. Okay, all right, fair enough. Fair enough, fair enough. New Zealand. Peter's from New Zealand. Fantastic.
When
Well,
is
let's
it
get
New
started.
Zealand right now? Are they ahead or behind?
Ahead by a lot. Right? No, I don't know. Ahead. Okay. By a lot too, Peter. What time is it over there?
I think they're ahead, but it's earlier in the day for them and like their perspective. Like it's like morning, right?
I'm your future. It's
Yeah.
12 p.m.
Yeah, it's lunchtime
Yeah.
for them. So yeah, ahead,
Peter,
behind, we don't know. This none
Peter's
of that
living in
makes
the
sense.
future. That's awesome. All right. Well, let's get started. Earn more, work less. Um, yeah, we're gonna get started. I'm trying to think of like a good. I want to give you guys kind of a heads up of what to expect tonight. Um, a lot of times, because we've got a mix of people, we've got people who have never traded before, we've got people who are trading veterans, we've got people that are brand new to our program, people that are not in our program. So to kind of tell you the gist of what inspired this event in the first place is that I'm seeing a lot of times traders both inside and outside of our community. They're living in this box of what's possible. And I kind of want to show you in a visual way a way to kind of break out of that box. And so I'm very excited for that. So here's how we're going to do it.
I
First,
think most people are conditioned to this anyways. Like we are basically taught our whole lives to go to school, graduate, get good grades, graduate, get your job, and then you work through and get your promotions. And the entire time you have like this one mindset of I have my income, it gets taxed, and then it goes to my bank, and then I pay my bills, and anything that's left over, then I get to use that for something. And like that's
yeah,
most people's financial literacy, right? And if you just look at that, there are things that you just changing one point, like before, after you get taxed, changing the one thing it goes into before it hits your bank account, what can be a life-changing experience, the infinite banking structure, right? Putting it
yeah,
in that there first. And that's what we're describing here with trading is that there are many ways to make this so much more impactful if we just change a few small things.
yes, exactly. And that's those small things are what I want to go over today and kind of expand your vision and your outlook of what trading can truly do for you and for your family. Um, so here's kind of how we're going to do it. This is we're going to first talk about how traders create consistent daily income within 1 to 2 hours a day. This is the work less part, right? And the important thing here is consistent daily income. The consistency is key. So we'll talk about that. The next one, why small wins like 10 pips compound into serious money. We're going to talk about that too.
This concept right there is so important that it's literally what our name is. TraDeca is not just a fancy way of putting trade in the name. It's trade Deca being 10 or whatever, like 10 pips, that foundational concept. So if you're new to us, it's pronounced TraDeca, and it's actually a play on words for us to make sure that you understand how singularly important the concept of just 10 pips is. Everything else beyond that we do is icing on the cake, but just if you can make 10 pips consistently over and over, it's a life-changing skill set. And that's
It
just the
really,
start too.
yeah, 100%. We'll also go into how to scale results without adding more screen time. This is going to be basically the climax of the event. This is definitely the meat and potatoes. So I'm going to spend most of the time on that particular point. And then finally, the shift that separates earners from scalers. So we're going to dive deep. Feel free to ask questions throughout this evening, and that way we can answer them as we go.
I have a question.
Except for
Are we
Travis.
are we going to talk about the difference between what you mean by what who is an earner and who is a scaler? Like, are we going to address that later, or can we do that now?
We'll address that later.
Okay.
So first and foremost, obviously, in order to scale anything, in order to think outside the box and to see what trading can truly do for you, you have to know how to trade consistently on a day-to-day basis. How do you do that? See, where most traders fail here is they think about the strategies, and that's not the worst spot to start. It is, however, the worst spot to stop with that line of thought. Okay, because there's so much more to it than just a trading strategy. Most strategies they basically say, when do you place a trade? When do you hit buy or sell? And then that's kind of it. Um, we've found there's significantly more to it than that. So we have this three-legged stool on the left-hand side, and what people truly need is they do need a strategy. It is an important piece of the pie here, but they also need systems and they need support. Okay, and what we mean by that is oftentimes a system would be, for example, tracking your trades on a day-to-day basis, analyzing your own numbers, reviewing your own trades. What did I do? What was I thinking during that time? What was I feeling during that time? That's a system. It's more than just did I push the buttons, did I win, did I lose kind of thing, right? And then support. That's a community and coaching. We had a really fantastic experience this morning with one of our members, and she's on here tonight with James. She finally hit her goal today, and it has been a long process and a lot of discipline that she had to learn in order to accomplish her goal. And a lot of that, she was singing praises to the community for their support with her in that journey. It's very, very helpful to have someone in your corner as you go through it. Also, support if you need help, right? Trading is not easy. If it was, everyone would do it. It's difficult. I don't want that to scare you. I want that just to be a reality. And the reality is you need someone, you need a coach, you need someone to help you. And that's what we're here for.
It's
100%.
not even just about the help, because obviously anytime you face a challenge or an obstacle or you're confused or whatever, it's nice to have someone to help walk you through that. But the support or your community around you is also just for that foundational piece. And I heard I can't remember who it was, but he was talking about ice cream. As silly as that may sound, he's like, if you go to a barber shop, and every guy in there as you're talking and hanging out and stuff, getting your haircut, is like an ice cream expert. As
Right.
you go there every month for a year, and they tell you all the best secrets, the best spots in town to take your business, how to market it, how the best flavors to source and stuff. Like, do you think that after a year, if you do nothing but just sit there and listen, you're gonna probably know a lot about ice cream. It's the same thing in anything else that you do, is that the people that you surround yourself with are going to influence you, whether it's directly or indirectly. And so
Yeah.
the support system is not just for when there's an issue, but if there are people who are more advanced than you or better than you at something or know more than you, more experienced, right? They will be able to help pull you up if you're a part of that same network. And the same thing for people who are maybe not a good influence on you. They will pull you down. If
Yeah.
you're around a bunch of, you know,
Naysayers.
naysayers, you're gonna be the next one, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, the support system is more than just when you need help.
And I just want to quickly apologize for Travis's discrimination against bald people, by the way. Talking about going to the barber shop. Anyway,
You
so
can get your beard trimmed, I guess.
so this year we also have this list of things. For those of you that have traded before, these are not eye-opening or revolutionary. However, they ought to be the basics that you kind of have down pat and memorized and maybe even read out loud every single day. This is how you succeed with trading. You make a plan and you follow the plan. Okay, that's like the very bare bones of trading. You make a very detailed and clear plan and you execute it with discipline. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. You track everything, everything. Make sure that you're looking at all of that. Your trading journal, and that includes notes of what you were thinking, um, what made you close the trade or keep the trade or move your take profit or whatever. Very detailed. This is one of our mottos in the community. Trading is not about winning, it's about not losing. Protecting your capital and mitigating risk is your number one priority as a trader. And we have ways and methods on how to do that. Own your trades. The person pushing the button is you. So no one else can push that button. Own that. Own that. And don't I've seen it go both ways. I've seen people lose and blame stuff. Oh, the broker, my internet. You know, they blame everything. I've also seen people win and not take credit. They'll take the win and be like, "Oh, I just kind of got lucky that it went up at that time." No, you analyzed, you looked at it, you chose to push this button. Own that trade. And then finally, practice intentionally. Okay, practice. By the way, it just started storming, so if I disconnect, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna make you co-host just in case here, Travis. In case I
Oh.
lose power. I don't think I
What
will.
do I do if you do disconnect?
I don't know.
I need you here. I need you here.
So practice intentionally. If you want to learn a skill, you got to practice, right? You can't just show up on game day with zero practice. You've never met your team before and hope that you're going to win, right? There's drills, there's things that you can do to improve your craft, improve your skill. All of this, by the way, typically takes 1 to 2 hours a day. I would say most of our members only trade about an hour, maybe an hour and a half per day. Some a little bit longer, but it's really just 1 to 2 hours a day to make that happen.
And there's some of those good days too that you can get in and out of the markets quicker than an hour. So,
Oh yeah, I mean I've been on for a couple minutes, like made $600 in 5 minutes or something.
but that should never be the expectation. You should always start with the intention of I'm sitting down for an hour. Now, if you reach your goal sooner, awesome, high five, you're done for the day. But don't try and rush anything. And that's just common
Yeah,
sense. I think most of these things that we talk about really are just kind of common sense, but common sense ain't always easy. Let's be fair.
yeah,
So,
yeah, totally agree. Why small wins like 10 pips compound into serious money. What I want to show you with that, in fact, I'm trying to think if I don't yeah, I don't know if anyone's personal information would show up if I close this presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second so I can pull up this other chart real quick. Give me a sec, give me a sec. And it did not show anyone's personal information, so I didn't have to do that, but better safe than sorry. Perfect. Share my screen again.
were you just hiding your browser history?
No. All right. So I showed this once on an event a few weeks ago, maybe a little over a month ago, and people got really confused. So I'm going to try to simplify this for you, okay? So there's two charts. There's this one on the left called organic compound, and there's the one on the right called funded launch. I would say at this point, the majority of our members are leaning towards the funded route. So I want to explain what that is, because what this chart shows is that you start with 50,000, and what some of the feedback was they're like, I don't have $50,000. Yeah, it's fine. That's not what this is. So what this is there are certain companies out there, they call themselves prop firms, and essentially what they do is they give you an evaluation, a test, and you have to basically prove that you know how to trade. Assuming you prove, and you have to hit certain benchmarks, etc. If you do pass the evaluation, they will give you $50,000 to trade with. Okay, so it's not your capital, it's their capital. Now, there's pros and cons to this process, but I would say in general, if your first initial goal is to quit the job, this is probably the fastest route to get there. And we know we've vetted certain prop firms to know which ones are reliable, which ones have good support, those kinds of things. And so, anyway, we can help guide you on that. But I just want to make sure that it's clear you're not taking 50 grand of your own capital. That's not the thing. But how this works, I'm just going to focus on the right side here. Let's say you did get a funding account of $50,000, and let's say you're just focused on trading 10 pips per day, just 10. Okay, very, very simple. To put that in perspective, yesterday I got 60 pips, and today I got 55 pips. Okay, and that's I didn't do anything different. Okay, it's the same process. So 10 pips is extraordinarily reasonable. Um, and then let's say that you're withdrawing 50% of the funds you make. I'm not going to go into details on the gate system, but basically once you hit a certain benchmark, you can actually increase how much you're trading per pip dollar wise. So you start out at $20 a pip, it can go to $40 a pip, etc. Right? And that can go up. So we have a process for that. But what I do want to focus on is if all you did was 10 pips a day and you followed our gate system, after the whole year, you would have withdrawn. If you're only withdrawing 50% of your profits, you would have taken out $109,000 for that year. And from then on, you would be maintaining that level of 130,000 if you're just doing 10 pips per day. The coolest part about this whole thing, that's just how much you put into your bank. That's only half. The other half is sitting in that account and continues to get traded. Your account balance goes from 50,000 to 165,000. That's including after you've withdrawn this 109. So you have 109,000 in your bank and you have 165,000 in your trading account. How cool is that? Right?
It
This is
sounds too good to be true, Zach. How does this math really work? Why is this so reasonable?
Yeah, so because 10 pips every single day, it's more about consistency. We always say consistency is what kills jobs, not big plays, not home runs. Those base hits are very powerful. So essentially, if you look at this chart a little more carefully, there's this gate column and there's a week column. So the gate determines how many dollars per pip you're trading with, and then week is pretty self-explanatory, week 1, week 2, etc. So you can actually see the first few weeks you go from 50,000, you gain $1,000, 10 pips a day at $20 a pip. That's $1,000 a week. Okay. Monday through Friday. When you get to gate 2 down here, it's kind of hard to see, but you're now trading at $40 a pip. So you've increased your account by $2,000 and you're withdrawing 1,000. Eventually, when you get to higher gates, you're withdrawing bigger numbers. This is how it starts to compound. And this graph only shows you going to gate 5. You can go bigger, but I'm going to show you today an even better way of doing it, okay, to scale, okay, because this is just one process, all right? But does that make sense? 10 pips a day? Heaven forbid, what if you start getting really good and instead of 10 pips a day, you're like, you know what? I can do 10 pips an hour and I'm going to trade 2 hours a day. Boom, 20 pips a day. Now look at those numbers. You're withdrawing 240,000, you have almost 300,000 in the account, right? It starts to really, really multiply. So very, very powerful, but we focus first on just simply 10 pips per day.
I saw a five in there. What if you're ultra conservative and you want to just get like bare bones? What does that look like?
Yeah, so 5 pips a day, you would end up with 45,000 withdrawn. I don't know about you. I mean, an extra $40,000 a year, there's nothing wrong with that for an hour a day. It's all right. And you have 100,000 now in your trading account. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Okay, now going back to the presentation, it might share some personal info, so I'm gonna stop sharing again. I don't know what it shows. Okay, I'm glad I did that because it loads the users first, so I'm glad I did that. Okay. All right, we're back. We're back. Let me get back to the presentation. But that's how powerful 10 pips a day can be. Now, again, that's usually where people stop thinking about it. Give me a second. Let me get back to where we were. Oh, too far. Okay. Now let's talk about what's the difference between an earner and a scaler. What we just talked about, which is exciting and it's good, that's what an earner thinks about. How much money am I going to make now? So I can quit my job, so I can have my time back, so I can spend more time with family, I can make beautiful memories. All of those things are beautiful. We love them, we support them. However, a scaler thinks differently. So this is the process that we've built out um, to become a scaler. So you start out by earning, obviously, build the skill. Keep in mind those things. Make a plan, follow a plan. Um, those other things. Trading is about winning. It's not about winning, it's about not losing, right? All those things that we went over on the previous slide. So if you're trading 10 pips a day, 50 pips a week, things are covered, stability. That's what we just showed with that chart. You're making six figures, everything's fine, hunky dory. Next, you start to multiply it. You start to expand your accounts. You don't have to have one account. You can have multiple accounts. You can copy those accounts to other accounts. We'll talk about that in a minute. Um, and you have a spare safety account that's multiplying. You can diversify. You can build a whole system using something called a PAM account. Or again, I'm going to get into details on this. This is just the overview. Earn, multiply, diversify, and then finally build your legacy. You're now thinking so much more than just, do I have money to go on vacation this year? Okay, now you're thinking about what am I leaving for my kids? What am I doing for certain causes that I'm passionate about? What am I doing for future generations in general in terms of an impact on the community as a whole, right? So we're going to dive deep into those things. And this one,
No.
nope, this one.
I,
Yeah, all right.
I just
So
added these in today. So Zach's learning as we go.
so I had slides prepared and Travis just shook his head and said, "Nope, we're not using those. Those are ugly. I'm not great at building slides.
Yeah, we
Not
need
my
more
skill
than just
set."
crayons.
Yeah. So now comes the fun part. How do you scale results without adding more screen time? Because the whole point of what we do is to work less, spend more time with family. That's like the entire point. And this is where we talk about those funded accounts. I already explained kind of what those funded accounts are. Um, so it's where you pass an evaluation and then they actually give you capital to trade with that's not yours, right? By the way, for I know we've got some skeptics on here. For those of you that are skeptical of that, they're in it to win it too. Okay, the way it works for them and the benefit they get is they get to keep at least 10% of all your withdrawals. In addition, sometimes more depending on how new you are to their services. The other thing that they do is they might have some withdrawal limitations. What I mean by that is they say, for example, you have to trade 5 days, not in a row, just you have to have 5 days of profitable trading before you can take a withdrawal. They want to make sure that you're an active participant because the more you make, the more they make. So they have certain rules with that. Again, we've vetted these guys, the ones that we use, and so we can help you with that once you're in the program, etc. So I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on what scaling can truly look like here. So let's say you have account one, and that covers your bills. Okay, that's the 10 pips a day, six-figure income. Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So this is what it looks like with the gate system. You might start out with $20 a pip, and then eventually you get to 40, and then 60, then 100. And just $40 a pip, by the way, that's a six-figure income by itself if all you did was stay at 40. Okay. So this really starts to scale you out pretty nicely. But what if you opened a new account? You can have more than one with these prop firms. So what if you have two different accounts?
And
Okay.
just to clarify real quick, the 50 pips you're saying specifically is for the week,
For
right?
the week. Yes.
Okay. Let's make
Yeah.
sure.
So that's ten per day, 5 days a week. So what you can do is you can actually have a second account, and because of technology, you can have it copy from account one to account two. And what I mean by copies is that when you take a trade on account one, it automatically takes the same exact trade on account two. So you're still just trading the one account. You're still focused on 10 pips a day, nothing more, nothing less, and then boom, you doubled your income just like that. It's pretty cool. Now here's where it gets interesting though, because what if you had five accounts? You can have one account copied to four other accounts for a total of five. Okay, so this is 10 pips per day still, but you're in reality you're doing 50 pips per day automatically. Okay, that's really exciting. Type a one in the chat if that sounds pretty freaking exciting. You just I don't know the word for it, 5x to your your income. That's pretty amazing. No one else finds it exciting. Travis finds it
Just
exciting.
me.
There we go. There we go. All right, good. Good. We got some participation there. So, I'm not going to sugarcoat this though. This, doing it like this, is not always the best idea. And I'm going to explain why. There's this thing called what ifs. Okay. Some of these things have actually, all of these things have literally happened to me. Okay. Where I'm trading, I'm in a trade, power's out. Oh crap. Oh crap, what do I do? I'm scrambling for my phone, trying to log into my account from my phone so that I can close a trade. If that's happening on all five accounts, that's kind of dangerous. Not kind of, that is very dangerous. Or what if there's a news spike that you didn't expect? Sometimes there are certain people with a lot of influence, they send out one little tweet at a random point in time during the day, and it makes the market go a little wonky. That happens. Now, if you take a loss from that, a small loss, a medium loss, we don't do big losses here. But if you take a small loss from that, guess what? Multiplied across five accounts. That's not good either, right? So it's kind of the way this is set up right now that I'm showing you, in a way, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. So this is where I want to show you a way that you can leverage this technology, still earn more and work less, where you're still focused on the basically the one account. Okay, and we're going to show you how this works in a safer way where you're spreading out the risk. Okay, so we have account number one, and your goal is 50 pips per week. Okay, that's per week. Now, the fun thing is, and a lot of our members that are on here, they'll know if you're focused on 10 pips a day, sometimes what happens is you take a trade and you're like, okay, I'm looking for this to go 10 pips, and it ends up going 50. Right? So you could have 50 pips in a day. There will be some weeks where all you do is trade account number one, 10 pips a day. That's it. Okay. There are some days, though, where account number one, you actually hit 70 pips in one trade on Monday. Well, now what do you do for the rest of the week? Do you take the week off? You could. Another thing you could do though is you could say, okay, since account one hit my 50 pip goal for the week, now I'm going to open up my second account and I'm going to start trading that one for Tuesday through Friday and focus on 10 pips a day. Account number two, you can have that one be your scaling account. So if account one is for your expenses, account two would be your scaling account, which means it's connected to two other accounts. And so they're copying down to these. So you're building these three accounts simultaneously. Okay, does that make sense so far? Yes, each account is separated with 50K, correct. Yep. Or more. I mean, there's different options there depending on the prop firm. Uh, then let's say you hit 50 pips on that one. This week is a really good week of this, by the way. Well, lots of people are hitting way more than 10 pips in a day each day. Like the market's giving us a lot of volume. Guess what, guys? Violence in the world will do that. It will move the markets, and that is money for us. Okay. So it's a good time to take advantage of trading. And then let's say you hit the 50 pips there. Guess what you can do? You can have a fifth account as your spare. Okay. So that way, if anything does happen news wise or what have you that really does hit your account pretty hard, you always have this guy as a backup. So you can keep building him because you already hit the goal on these two. Does that make sense? This is just an example of a way you can diversify the same trading process that you do.
So right here, you're looking at 50, 100, 150 pips. right?
150 pips a week. Yep.
And so we're talking about 10 pips a day. Then we're talking about 50 pips. Now it's 150 and stuff. I want to clarify for people here, right? That the main concept, the foundation is 10 pips. 10 pips will change your life, but that's not where we stop. You don't just stop there because you've met that one foundational goal. As Zach said earlier, it becomes increasingly obtainable to be able to hit 150, 200, 250 pips on a weekly basis and stuff. And so as you're doing that, you're not just on one account, but you have multiple. That's the point of this structure, is to spread things out over multiple accounts to account for, different types of scenarios that can benefit or affect your trading.
Yeah. And in a way to think about this too is as you get better at trading, it is a skill set. So if you're focused on 10 pips a day at first, which is awesome, the first point, the point of first starting is to earn, replace the job, that kind of thing. So you're focused on 10 pips a day, that can quickly shift into 10 pips per hour. And then you can shift it to 15 pips per hour, and then 20 pips per hour. And as you continue to grow in your skill, those things become much easier. I shouldn't say easier, much simpler for you. It really does become second nature. It's really a beautiful thing. James always says it's like learning to drive. When you first learn to drive, oh my gosh, I got to check my mirrors. I got to push the gas the right amount, the brake the right amount. I got to focus on turning, blinkers, signs, laws, speed. You got to focus on a lot of stuff. Heaven forbid someone calls you while you're driving, right? So eventually now you drive for many, many years. What happens? You go from point A to point B. You don't even think about it. Sometimes you're like, wait, how did I get here?
Was I
Right?
driving? Have
How
you seen
was
that
I
one video? I think it's like Reno 911, where the guy's like, "Oh man, I was just having the weirdest dream." The guy's like, "You're driving." Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is too. I mean, when I remember when I first started to drive, that it was a bit intimidating, but I also had like an ancient pickup truck that had the worst manual transmission. Anything that could be wrong with the truck was wrong with it. The clutch wouldn't work. It was a lot more, but regardless of that, it's intimidating to get, especially on the road with other people in other
Mhm.
cars that you might hit or they might hit you and stuff. And it's a bit overwhelming, but once you start getting used to it, you really do need to pay attention more in many ways. Otherwise, you do zone out, and that's probably just as dangerous. So with trading, you get to a point where it's just second nature. You know it inside and out, and you get into the groove. And yeah, so it's important to plan that out though, so that groove is on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, 100%. So if you're trading at gate two on these three accounts, right? This one's copied on the other two. So that's at $40 a pip. It ends up being $2,000 on all five accounts for that week. And again, sometimes you'll be trading all three accounts up that much. Sometimes maybe you just trade account one because the market is being special for you that week. Sometimes you get two of them done, you get one and a half of these done. It doesn't really matter what the market gives you. The idea here is just to show you the plan of what is truly possible. And it gets even crazier than that. And by the way, yeah, Brian posted in here, um, you're doing that daily. So I am. I have a focus right now of 50 pips per day. And so your skill as you grow, it becomes so much more reasonable. And again, the point is look at what's possible. This is just the beginning, by the way.
Mhm.
This is the
Yeah,
start.
the people that we work with best are typically one of two kinds, right? Somebody who's never traded before, this is very new to them, minimal, if any, experience at all, or someone who's been struggling to figure out how to put these pieces of the puzzle together, right? And so this is, again, everything we're talking about is foundational,
Yeah.
a good foundation and such, right?
Yeah, very much so. What if then you finally open something called a PAM account? So what a PAM account is, it's like this idea of being able to copy to multiple accounts, but instead of it being from a prop firm where they give you capital to trade with, it's your own capital. You fund it, you put money into it, etc. So you can take money, let's say from account 4, put it into a PAM account, right? And now you're trading your own money, zero withdrawal rules, right? Zero restrictions. It's literally whatever you want to do, and you can have as many connected accounts as you want. So the way that PAM accounts work is they call the main account the master account, and then anything that it copies to, those are called investor accounts. So to give you an example, okay, now this, I'm not trying to teach you how to budget. This is just how I budget, to be honest. So
What is
I
it?
learned this
This information is for educational purposes only.
I learned this from a book, Secrets of the Millionaire's Mind, and I've loved it ever since I was early adult years. And so I like to have a play account. And essentially, what this account does is I have to spend it every month on me. I can't spend it on anyone else. This is my play account. Okay. And so you can have your PAM account copying into a play account. And that is meant to make you feel awesome because you are
I want to
awesome.
know what you spend your play money on.
I
I'm
have,
gonna
I,
guess. I'm gonna guess. Lego sets, Sudoku books, and a barber shop that does actually accept you.
no. I have used it for really dumb things though, like really expensive pants. I know it sounds weird, but like I'll get like ads for these indestructible pants or whatever, and I'm like, bet, let me try it. And then I'll buy these $120 pair of pants. Turns out they're not as good as they advertise. Imagine that. But that's my play money. I can spend it on stupid stuff as much as I want.
Yeah.
Um Sudoku, yeah, I do a lot of that stuff. Anyway, and then you can have another account for your health. This could be gym memberships, workout equipment, healthy eating. It could be part of your grocery bill. Obviously, if you have to go to the doctor and that kind of thing, any of that stuff having to do with health, you can have a little health account. You can have one for relationships. So this is where date night, or taking the family out to a cool thing to create a memory, right? Those kinds of things. That's where that one comes from. Another one, retirement. Obviously, all of us should be thinking about that. So this is a really cool way to
Mhm.
build the retirement. You
The
could have another.
days of, work 40 hours a week and save your money in an account and, then retire and live off of 40% of what you used to do. Those days are long gone.
Oh
That
yeah.
doesn't exist in this economy anymore. So people, this is a little bit of a wake up call. Like you've got to figure out something more than just that standard 9 to 5,
Yeah.
because the rate at which our income is increasing naturally is not keeping up with how fast inflation is rising. So we got to be careful here. That's an important one.
Yes. Judy is asking a crazy cool question.
Great
What
question.
if there's loved ones I want to help? Could they attach an account that I would trade for them? Holy crap. You read our minds perfectly. You're getting ahead of the presentation. All right. So
Slow
another
down,
account
Judy.
Another account I like is future spending. I also like to refer this as long-term spending. It's like a big expense. You want to buy something fancy, a bigger home, uh, a better vacation. You've got a 10-year anniversary coming up or something. You want to go to Hawaii or something a little more extravagant than usual. This is the account to build up in order to spend. Its purpose is to spend it. Okay. What if Judy's question now, which I was going to ask, if you guys didn't know, I do have some kids. I have 6 children. And so, what if I made an account for child number one? And I could hold the keys to that to where they can't take money out until I let them, or I can give them the keys to that, depending on how responsible my child is. Child number two, I can make another account for child number two. I can make one for three, number four, number five, and number six. I can make an account for all of them. And all I'm doing is trading my PAM account in order to build up their accounts at the same time. You can do
Someone
this.
might be wondering if it's only for your children. The answer is no. You can open up an account for anything or anyone. There's no
Yeah.
limitations here. I mean, there's no limitations within the account structure. There's legal limitations that you might want to consider, you know. So,
So you can, yeah, I mean, but you can do it for your parents. You can do it
mhm.
for a grandparent. You can do it for a friend, a really close friend, or a cousin, or really anyone you want. I also have a grandchild, so I would open one up for him too. But this is a way that you can do it. You can essentially take, you see the structure up here with the funded accounts? As you grow, you can kind of have a PAM account. You can have 3 different PAM accounts, also diversified. But now you're getting away from the funded stuff, and now it's all yours, right? There's so much that you can do with this. This is just an example. I want you guys to get creative. Yeah, Brian mentioned this too. You can set up an account specifically for nonprofits, for a cause that you truly believe in, for ministry, for anything that you want to set your mind to. And this is where I wanted you to think outside the box. Don't just look at it like, oh, let me quit my job and pay the bills. That's exciting. That's a good step. But man, trading can do so much for you just by learning this one simple skill set. So there is one more slide. There's not that slide. Okay. What about, oh, Travis, I might have to show that other slide.
What one?
I forgot about this one. The last one in mine.
Oh, is it worth it?
Yeah, yeah. So, give me a second. Just give me a second.
I forgot that one.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Give me
All
two.
right, shut it down. We're done for today.
Ah.
I forgot a slide.
Let me go to it. And of course, you hit it so that it wasn't presentable. So I'm gonna present. Dang. Okay, hold on. That's all right. We're just gonna do it like this. Boom. Okay. The shift. You can see the difference in slide quality. It's a little jarring. The shift between an earner and a scaler is the way that they think about trading. An earner wants to make money. Don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with that. We are big fans of money. It's a wonderful tool that presents crazy awesome opportunities, okay? But a scaler, they want to leave a legacy. They're thinking about so much more and such a much bigger picture than just their bills, right? And
It's like
so,
the question that when somebody gets to $1 billion, why do they still work? You
right.
know, or maybe even some people will think of a smaller number. Like once you get to $1 million or $5 million, right? Like what's the point of continuing to work? This is actually interesting. There was a Stanford or Harvard, I need to look it up. It's been years. It was a study about the impact and the correlation between how much money somebody makes and their like reported contentment with life and satisfaction and happiness,
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And after about at the time, this was a few years ago, so the number's going to be higher now because of inflation. But the number was like 120,000, 150 or so. After you get to that point where your bills are paid, you can take your vacations, a couple times a year. You don't have to worry about buying a Gatorade at the store. Like this basic needs are met, bills are paid, your house, you got a comfortable house, right? 150 grand, I think was the number. After that, there is no direct correlation between making more money and like satisfaction, happiness, fulfillment, purpose, right? Um, and that to me is really interesting because then the question is, why do people get to the point where they make so much more, right? Or why do you keep working and grinding? Think like Elon Musk, allegedly, one of the richest, if not the richest man in the world, who is sleeps on his office floor sometimes because he's
Yeah.
working so much. It just to me that's so perplexing. But this is the concept of the mindset of somebody who is a scaler versus that earner, right? The earner will stop at that point. They're happy, they're content. There's nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah.
then there is a different mindset of going and leaving that legacy, right? And the Bible does tell us that we're supposed to consider that and leave an inheritance behind and stuff. So there's good motto for it as well, I think. But yeah, the difference between an earner and a scaler is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And the question really boils down to, is it worth it? Like I said, trading, it's not the easiest thing in the world to learn. There are much easier skill sets out there, but trading has by far the biggest opportunity for people to get started in. And so the question is it worth it to you? Is it worth the effort and the time? Um, so, any
I mean, looking
questions?
looking at this right now, I think the question we can double down on it is if all it did was account one, paid your bills, would it be worth it?
Yeah.
Right? But what if you got to a point where you're actually in account two, you're scaling this stuff too? At that point, would it be worth it? Like we're just adding on and making it even better. And so if you answer yes, if it just pays my bill, is it worth it? Then obviously you're onto something. And it's different too, because it's not the only thing that you can do right now to go and increase your income and such, right? So what are the other options? I think is important to compare to. A lot of people, I mean, right now, we have the most opportunity that has ever existed in the history of humanity for someone to go and make something more of themselves in their life, right? To boil it down to just a few examples right now, the internet has done wonderful things for us to be able to have these opportunities for anybody to go and seize. Carpe diem, right? And so going and doing something like an Amazon store and drop shipping, that kind of thing, or maybe you want to get into what's a big one that we used to hear about? Insurance sales. Like they get into insurance sales, right? I mean, what are the hangups there? Because, or MLMs. What are the other ones? Zach, help me out here.
Affiliate marketing.
Affiliate marketing. You're talking about things that require oftentimes the spending on marketing, spending on overhead and inventory, maybe even warehousing, spending on sales teams and such. Or like there's a lot of different areas you've got to invest time, money, and energy into. Whereas trading, the one thing you got is your computer, the markets, right? Like that's pretty minimal. And so, is it a challenge? Yeah, every one of the other things, all the other options you have are challenges too.
Yep.
And and it's hard. There's hard things that you do in life. For me, what was more difficult than what we do now was staying at a 9 to 5 and working and building someone else's dream. That was more difficult for me than to go and take risks and do other things, right? And so the is it worth it question shouldn't just be brushed over in your mind. You got to ask yourself, like, why? What will this do for me if I put my mind to this? What will it do if I unlock just 10 pips a day, let alone the 50 per account that we're talking about here? Just that baseline, what's it going to do, right? And then ask yourself, is it worth it? If you're saying no, it's all right. This is not for you right now. But I think most people are going to be like, yeah, this is freaking awesome. Now, how do I get access to it? Is the next question.
Yeah. 100%. I couldn't agree more. But just a quick little mini story. When I first left my 9 to 5, it was for affiliate marketing is where I started my entrepreneurship journey. And I thought affiliate marketing was the greatest thing known to earth, known to man, and it was not. So, the way they pitch it is it's like, look, you just market our stuff and you send people this link and then they buy our stuff. Your job is to market them, we'll sell them on the other side. It is not like that. It is not that simple. If it just to learn marketing, you have to learn psychology, male and women's psychology, depending on your target market. You have to learn demographics. You have to learn copywriting, which is probably the biggest skill set to learn in all marketing. You have to learn technical stuff. You have to build stuff with softwares. You have to learn about design and design work that's influential and persuasive. You have to learn about color psychology. You have to learn about a lot of stuff. Okay. And it's not one thing. All of those things are kind of tough. Much less trading is just one skill. You learn how to trade. Okay. You got to learn entries and exits, right? Finger on button, which for those of you that are not members, you don't know what that is, but you got to learn some of those things. But at the end of the day, you're learning how to trade, period. Just one thing. It's a beautiful thing. All right. So create your account. So we have something that we call the TraDeca blueprint. Um, this is a complete group. This is exactly what we've been doing for years. What is working? The systems, the support, the strategy, the different pieces of the puzzle that is helping our traders to win. We have in our community 90% of our active traders are profitable every single week. Compare that to the industry as a whole, it's almost a complete opposite of what the industry as a whole is doing. And all of this information with how we do that, in the structures that we put into place, that's all found in this blueprint. In
Yeah.
addition to that, we have something called the TraDeca Toolkit. This is Travis's baby. It's a wonderful thing. It's tools and resources to help you start, stabilize, and scale your trading, including a trading journal that just automatically gives you the numbers. All you have to do is upload your trade log to it. It's very, very simple, straightforward to use. And that payout plan that I showed you with the two charts with the 10 pips a day thing, you get access to that, a trading plan, a business plan, all of that is part of the toolkit and more. Give it.
Most of that we want to give it to you for almost close to free. Okay, it's going to cost you some time to be able to get it, right? So fundamentally, there's three things that you've got to have no matter what you're setting out to do. If you want to go be an affiliate marketer, or you want to go back to college, or you want a promotion at work, or whatever it is, if you want to be a trader, you've got to have three things, right? First, you got to know what to do to trade, right? This is information based. It's strategy. You've got to know how to do it, right? These are systems and tools and resources. It's how you're actually applying this information. And then you've got to know why it's working this way, right? So what, how, and why. That's the conceptual understanding, a mastery, if you will. And that's how you're going to be able to scale. And so this blueprint actually is going to cover a large portion of that what to do. Now, it's not a strategy. It's not going to say, here's when you push a button, but it's going to show you all of the ins and outs of what we do inside of our membership, inside of our group, and why about 90% of our members on a weekly basis are reporting profits to us, right? And so it's a really valuable place for people to start, whether you are brand new to trading or if you have some experience, you're not quite where you want to be, right? The toolkit is part of that experience, and there's a bunch of freebies in there. Zach, can you go to the next slide, actually? Um, a lot of resources and tools for you to be able to use, but to keep them. Okay, this is where we're going to put on a little bit of heat for you. Okay, first of all, you've got to sign up, and then you have to complete this within 5 days. It's like 90 minutes of content. It's more than doable within 5 days. The reason why we do this is basically to weed out the people who are not actually committed to learning and going through a process, right? And that's for your benefit, okay? Because the markets, they don't wait for us either. The markets continue. And by golly, I wish I would have invested into Bitcoin back, when people were telling me first about it. And I was like, oh no, that's a scam. That sounds silly. I would it would be a completely different state of life to have done that, right? But Bitcoin didn't wait for me. The markets never do, and we won't either, right? So if you go in and you want these things complimentary, we're happy to give them to you, but you've got to put in some effort, right? But I want to tell you why it's actually more important to go ahead and do it right now, do it today, or as soon as possible. You can go to the next slide, because what we're going to do is that for the next 48 hours, we are making a really big transition within our structure. Really exciting things for people who are already with us that we're going to be rolling out over the next few weeks. But for people who are not quite with us yet, what we're going to do over the next 48 hours is 30% scholarships, just ubiquitous. If you show up, we're going to give you a 30% scholarship. Because we are going to also start introducing a what's called a founders fast focus. Brian was calling it the fast start. I thought there were so many F's, might as well put another F word in there because I have a weird sense of humor. So it's the founders fast focus for Rizzle. And really what the big things happening right now is that we're going to offer you our legacy membership. And what this means is that what we have historically offered for years, where all of our amazing case studies, all of our testimonials have come from, are from people who have a lifetime unlimited membership with us, meaning that there's no restrictions on the things that we're offering. As we have realized that there is a higher demand and a shifting economy, we are going to work and shift within that economy too, just like we do in the markets with our own trading. We're making corporate shifts so that our people can come through at a more attainable price. Okay, the price point is going to be really, really awesome, but with a few restrictions, so we actually can help more people, a higher volume of people, because historically this legacy membership, we only opened up to about 10 people per month, and there were hard caps that we put on it. So we are still offering this. If you value the highest things that we have or the highest value things that we have for you, right? If you like a lifetime unlimited all-inclusive hotels and stuff, you know what to experience, right? So we're making that big transition, and we want to let people know about that before we completely stop it. You have an opportunity over the next 48 hours to take advantage of that and some other cool things as well. So you have 5 days to keep the tools for free, but if you act within Friday or Saturday, you're going to get a bunch more too.
And for all of you that are here, you had to have registered to be here. You would have already received an email and a text message with a link to this blueprint, the toolkit. And when you get through step 4 in the blueprint, that's where you'll actually see the calendar so you can book a time We do have people ready for you for Saturday, even if Saturday's a better option for you. That's why it's the next 48 hours. So take advantage, take action, take the opportunity. This is unlimited one-on-one coaching. We help you directly. We are there for you. We're part of the team. You're part of the family. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Anything else to add, Travis?
I've been dying to know. I've been dying to know, when's the last time you went to a barbershop? You brought it up earlier, and it's not left my mind, but I didn't want to distract her earlier.
Uh, let me let me think about that. Actually, it was
It's
probably
been
like
89 years.
I was gonna say like 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I had hair with Brian. Did I have hair when I met you, or was I bald by then?
Well, you had some Charlie Brown going on.
I did. Okay, so six, probably about 6 years then.
Yeah.
It's been a
Cool.
while.
No. All right, guys, just to remind you, go to toolkit.tradeca.co. That's where you can sign up. It will take you to the blueprint automatically and walk you through step by step. It is really, really simple. This is also the toolkit has some beta features. And so if there's any hiccups, it's really easy to connect with us. There's a bunch of different places in there to tell you, reach out here or here's a way to contact us. So let us know if anything comes up. We're pretty easy.
Yeah.
So,
And
okay.
last thing, Brian Brian posted a Loom link. Go check it out. It's from my session last night. So you can go and see a sample of what to expect when you're in with us and you're trading with us. Okay, so go ahead and click that Loom link. But the most important thing, sign up for the blueprint. Can't wait to see you guys there, and we'll see you on a call. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Welcome to TraDeca, a prosperity movement.